Assalamualaikum and a very good morning, everyone. Welcome to Razak School of Government's third webinar in 2021, our 16th installment in total. Today's webinar is called Call of Duty. Before we get started, I would like to go over a few housekeeping items and the structure of our webinar sessions today. To those who follow this webinar through Zoom, please mute your microphones. We are also broadcasting this webinar live on our Facebook. This webinar session is divided into 3 segments. First, we will begin with key questions posed to our guest speaker. Then, we will answer questions from participants. At any time during the webinar, you may submit your questions to the guest speaker. Just type your questions in the chat and comment section. Please keep your question short and straightforward. As time allows, we will address as many questions as possible. Lastly, we will then wrap up today's webinar session. This webinar is recorded, and you will be able to access this recording via our Facebook and YouTube page. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our guest speaker today, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Ezanee bin Muhammad Faisal, is the officer in charge of Police District Headquarters Petaling, Jaya, a position he held since February 2020. Prior to his current appointment, he was at the Inspector General Secretariat, International Relations Policy Headquarters at Bukit Aman, where he plans and supervises international protocol affairs for the Inspector General and the Deputy Inspector General, along with analyzing, assessing, and advising them on international matters. From 2016 to 2017, he was at the Inspector General Secretariat, Implementation Officer, Police HQ at Bukit Aman, where he organized the preparation details and coordinated the 36th ASEAN Pool Conference 2016, hosted by the Inspector General. Upon completion of police basic training in 2006, where he commanded the passing out parade, he was posted in Seremban as Investigation Officer, Narcotics, a role that required him to investigate, manage, and maintain the integrity of the cases assigned, including paperwork and evidence. He was then posted to Kota Kinabalu, where he managed 36 officers and detectives in combating narcotics-related crime and executed various scale of operations to minimize the demand and supply of narcotics. From 2010 to 2013, he managed and led a team of 48 officers and detectives in conducting high-risk and high-profile narcotics operations. As head of division narcotics from 2013 to 2015, he procured and converted narcotics-related information into intelligence with operational value. An individual with strong moral principles, determination, and mission-oriented, ACP Ezanee is also known to maintain a sense of humor under pressure. Tuan Ezanee, let us get started. The first question to the guest speaker: what is call of duty to you? Persilakan, Tuan Ezanee.
Okay, hi, hello everybody. What is call of duty? I was thinking about it since you first approached me. So last night I get to ask my son, "Hey, what do you think about call of duty?" And he was like, "Pa, it's the mission. It's the mission that you've done it before. It's the mission." So he's going on about the bad guys and all that. So I was like, oh, finally it clicked my mind. He was referring to PS4, PlayStation 4, Call of Duty. I was like, hey, there's also some similarities on that. But anyway, Call of Duty, yeah. Call of Duty. I wasn't always a policeman. I remember when I was hired as an intern back in the late 90s. I was excited to be in that computer software company. It was a computer startup, and I had my brand new suit on, tie, shirt. I do not remember if I got a new pair of new shoes, but yeah, it was like that morning I was ready to go to work, and I was surprised with my first task. Of course, that is when I arrived, I was introduced to the CEO, and the CEO was like, "Hey, you see all these boxes in the particular section? Those are chairs. Fix it." So I said, "Yes, sir." So I went through the whole floor. So there was a lot of tables and chairs. So took off my jacket, rolled my sleeve, and I did it all. I took the risk of finishing the whole boxes on the whole floor alone. I got it done, I think, like right before noon. So he came out and he saw, wow, he did it. 1 year later, from an intern, I was the director of sales and marketing for that company. Not because of my, not because of my smile, obviously.
You have a good smile.
Not because of my communication skills, because I'm just another kid from Malaysia with a funny accent. But I think it's because of the attitude. Instead of just finishing the whole boxes, I think there were about maybe 3 or 4 boxes in that section. I did it the whole floor. I took the risk. He didn't ask me to do it. I did it. Okay. Same thing. When I was, internet bubble burst, I moved to Vietnam. I was exporting garden furniture out of Vietnam at that time. We had a problem where our clients keep asking for feedback on where are the current status of their order. And I managed to create this, what we call Traxis. It's a track system where when they place their order, when they open their LC, letter of credit, what are the processes that their product has to go through? And eventually they can monitor it by emails and all that at the time. So that works. And when I joined the force, I happen to be a cop now. So what is Call of Duty? I happen to be a cop. Call of Duty is, to me, waking up in the morning and doing what you do best. And come home that night and ask yourself, have you done your best? If you haven't, wake up the next morning and fight for that. That is what Call of Duty. It doesn't matter if you're a cop, if you're a military personnel, if you're a bomber personnel, or if you're in a private sector, whatever. Call of Duty is in everybody. Go out there, wake up, and do your best. That is to me my definition of Call of Duty. And I remember when I first started as a young Chico, the police force, I was an investigation officer back in Seremban. I was a narcotic investigation officer. So what happened at the time, I learned how to investigate or how to manage my investigation papers from a sergeant. I realized after 1 or 2 IPs, it's not enough. So I go further. Who's the best? Who are the best to refer to, if not the public prosecutors? Even with the public prosecutors, I have to pick the most, strict public prosecutor. So the first time I brought my investigation papers to this public prosecutor, she minuted, I think, almost 3 pages for some instructions for me to, to further within the investigation. So I had to go back. I have to go back and do each and every single thing that she asked me. 3 pages. That's quite a lot. But I never run from her. One thing, because no other investigation officers wants to see her. And when I come in, she's the only one that's free, so I can get my business done very fast. Number 2 is that she do not allow shortcuts, and I believe that in life there is no shortcut. It's always hard work. You've got to go through the meals. You've got to put in your effort, and you get there eventually. So she taught me that. Okay, after maybe 6 months, from 3-pager instruction, it drops to half-page. So I guess I must have done something right in her eyes. Eventually, I get to serve in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah, as a head of department of narcotics. Had I limit myself to investigation, I was an investigation officer in Seremban. Had I limit myself to just investigation, meaning that I do not go on operations, arresting drug addicts, or I do not expose myself in intelligence procurement, or I do not make myself available for administrative activities, I would have got a lot of problem in Kota Kinabalu, because just focusing on one job wouldn't allow me to be effective in Kota Kinabalu. In Seremban, Seremban to Kota Kinabalu was a transition for me. I exposed myself on a lot of things in Seremban. And when I arrived Kota Kinabalu, it was just in the tip of my fingers. Okay, that is Call of Duty. In Seremban, if I just focus on investigation papers, I couldn't have done what I've done in Kota Kinabalu. And I think there are some officers who still remember what I've done in Kota Kinabalu. So it was quite interesting times at that point. Came back to Bukit Aman again as a strike team commander, and then eventually I left narcotics and was stationed in Bukit Aman to assist the IGP's secretariat. And here I am today as the OCPD of Petaling Jaya. So, being an OCPD of Petaling Jaya, it's not easy. I've been here for 1 year, and I can still say it's not easy. So, but when the tough get going, well, you got just wake up in the morning and say that, hey, today I'm going to give my best. That is what it is. That is what you see for the past 1 year, Petaling Jaya, what Petaling Jaya has done. Coming out from our beds, coming out from our homes, we go to the roadblocks, we go on the fields, our offices, and we promise ourselves and our family to give our best. That is our Call of Duty. And you can do this too. You don't have to be a cop to do this. Okay? So, any questions yet?
It was a pleasant coincidence, Tuan Ezanee, because I spoke to my son last night that I'm going to interview a cop this morning. So he really hoped that I was not get into any trouble, that the cop want to speak to me. If we gather you correctly, Tuan Ezanee, Call of Duty is asking yourself on whether you have done the right thing, and make sure that you do the right thing, though it requires a lot of hard work, or it requires a lot of effort to do it right. The second question, Tuan Ezanee, is why do you think it is important, the call of duty?
Well, it is important. What do you think about yourself? Who do you think you are? And you ask yourself, why am I here? It gives you the sense of purpose. If my current job is to become to be a commander or officer in charge of a police district, then my purpose is to do what's best for the people of Petaling Jaya. It gives you the sense of purpose. You just don't come to the office and be like, what am I going to do today? Oh, today I feel like having roti canai. Today, this afternoon, I feel like makan this and that with some people. Call of duty is a sense of purpose. Okay, whether you want to be taken seriously, whether you want to be respected, whether you want to make that difference. Why is it important? I always believe that if you walk into a place, you better leave that place better than it was. If not, then it doesn't matter whether you're there or not. Nobody will feel the difference. Nobody will even think of your existence. Sense of purpose. A sense of purpose could take any individuals or a team to the greatest heights. Okay, and it could help any individuals who are during their toughest time to face the challenges. I remember I was posted as ADC, ADCOM, or a Deputy Inspector General. He was the fiercest man in police force. Tan Sri Nur Rashid, who doesn't know Tan Sri Nur Rashid? Any policeman would know. He's very fierce. And it's not that he's a fierce man that I feel challenged. It's the job scope. 8D COM, or what we can say, executive assistant. Okay, it's not my character to carry bag, open doors. Country, welcome. It's not in me. Okay. And then check the schedules and everything, do the briefing. Just the personal assistant. So what do it challenges me very bad. It gives me a lot of stress. It's just not my character. So what do? Put a sense of purpose there. Call of duty. I have to be there. So I change it. I look at the post as well. At one point, I imagine myself as Frank Farmer. To those of you who do not know Frank Farmer, he's the one who bodyguard Whitney Houston in the movie Bodyguard. So I took the role of Frank Farmer. Okay, I try to be very professional. I think one of the most stressful time was there was a Raya open house done by Maybank. My wife works in that bank. So all these top executives were there, and of course my boss is one of the VIPs. So I said, that's it. I'm going to stand there. I'm going to look like Frank Farmer. And I did it. I stood by him. I make sure that all his instructions are follow up. I sat down in his meetings. I try to tap on his mind, the way he thinks. What are the issues that really bothers him? And that's why I learned how his mind works. Not many personal assistants actually sat in his boss meeting, but I asked for his permission, and he said, yes, you can learn something from my meetings. He said. And of course, you sit in his meetings. Later, after the meeting's over, You start asking, what do you learn today? And you start briefing on that thing. So I had 9 months of that. I turned something that I do not like into something beneficial for me. That is Call of Duty. All right, it could work. It could work to your advantage, even though that particular task is it's just not you. Turn it into a silver lining or whatever. So that's why I said for an individual like myself, Call of Duty is important. And besides of giving us a sense of purpose, we may be able to make a difference. Okay. We live in a very imperfect world. Okay. If we leave it to be imperfect, it will be worse. We would be irresponsible. But if we can make a difference toward a better future, you know, then we could live in a better world. So yeah, that's why I think it's important. Sense of purpose, making a difference.
Thank you, Tuan Ezanee. That's a very two interesting point that you raised up about sense of purpose and making difference. I'm sure we can elaborate more during the question and answer with participant later.
Okay.
So the last question to you, Tuan Ezanee, how do you encourage others to pursue this call of duty?
Well, in PJ, I'll take PJ. Okay. I try to promote 3 things. One is building trust. Building trust not just internally within my team, but also trust between my team and also the community that we serve, our clients. Building trust. How do we do that? We try to increase transparency. And I think what actually worked best in building that trust is humanizing the badge. I see that we get a lot of attention. We build a lot of good relationships with the community by humanizing the badge. And you remembered what we've done in the past, meeting the warga emas, helping out the poor, doing that extra, going that extra mile and helping out those who are in need, adding value to our services. So this is what we're trying to do in PJ, and not you got to get the buy-ins from your team. I have over almost 1,006 men under my command. So getting a buy-in, part of I think the most important part of being a leader is to convince your men to do the same thing. Convincing can be tough if you do not know how to, play your role. So what I normally get is when I try to introduce something new, they laugh at me. First, they be like, "You're crazy." They laugh at me. They make fun of me. They criticize me for the ideas that we try to. But if you have that sense of purpose, if you have that call of duty in you, and you just might get them to join you, and that's where all these plans come together. So how do you convince them? How do you sell to your men? We got to do this. I know it's tough, but this is the way. This is the future. First of all, leading by example, and I've said many times, walk the talk. People talk. People want the best investigators, the best world-class facilities. They talk. Do they follow through? Do they actually walk the talk? That's a different question. So the men, they are not stupid. I have detectives, they detect. If I say A and I'm doing B, C, D, they would know. If I say, hey, that's, for example, do not get involved with any syndicate. And myself, at night or during my free time, I do other activities with the head of the syndicates or members of the syndicates. My man would know. And then you lose your command. You lose the respect. In front of you, they'll be like, sir, you're the best, you're good. Behind your back, they'll do something else. Walk that talk. If you have a call of duty, you will walk that talk. There's no other way. And with that call of duty, you will manage to get support from the men. Once they see after a few months, they'll be like, hey, this guy is consistent. He's there, right? Whenever we're at work, he'll come by. He'll drop by. Be sure. Don't mess around. Don't sleep on the job, because he might just drop in. So I put this in my man. Okay, I put this image in my man that I'll be around. If they have problems, I'll be there. If they are under the hot sun, I'll be there. If they are under pouring rain, I'll be there. I get wet with them, and I don't mind doing it. The moral of the man, once they have their commander next to them, is totally different. You should see their faces. Amazing. And I've done it during my tour in a strike team, narcotic strike team. Yeah, that's when I see it. If you are part of them, if you could sleep next to them, stand next to them, squat beside them, and they have more respect. And of course, you have to be sometimes cruel in order to be kind. I do not tolerate any breach of integrity. You break the law, as a boss, I am the one that's going to investigate. As your leader, I'm the one that's going to take action on you. Be sure of that. Okay? We are not kids anymore. We are children. We took an oath. So no, I make it clear. There's always a line. The line is very clear. There's no gray area to me. Do not do it. If you do it, we're gonna have a problem. And you know what I mean. I'm not talking about, you know, buying ice cream while you are on the job. No. I'm talking about act of dishonesty. Okay? We are men of honor. Act. That's my I'm very passionate when it comes to that, because if you lose your honor, and there's no reason for you to be in this world. There's no reason. I do not know anybody who doesn't have honor can look in the mirror and still smile. I don't know how they do it. I cannot do it. I cannot see my family. I cannot see my son thinking that, you know, I've done something that's disgusting out there. Come home to see them. I just cannot. That's not. Just a plain cop, plain soldier. That's all. So, anyway, that's how I convince my men. Do it. Make sure you mean your business and assist them where I can. I've done it. I told them I've done it since I joined the force. 15 years. I've done it. I went through the mills. It was hard, but it's doable. It's better. You know, people don't come knocking on your door saying that, hey, did you do this or that? No. So anyway, so that's how I convince my leading by example. Sorry, I just went on and on.
Ezanee,
Yeah.
If we get you correctly, you have a clear sense of purpose, and that sense of purpose gives you direction in your call of duty.
Yeah.
And you make sure that everyone is on board with you to achieve that purpose.
Yeah.
And from your experience, role modeling is very important because people will follow if you do the right thing. Interestingly, Tuan Ezanee, when you mentioned about humanizing the badge, Maybank is humanizing the financial services, and your wife worked with Maybank. I guess you learn from each other, how to get the purpose. Tuan,
Oh yeah. She's my pillars of strength. She's been very supportive of me. Very patient, and I couldn't thank her more. Very sweet person. I love you.
we can see from your face how much you love her. We have started to receive questions from the participant, Tuan Ezanee.
All right.
Okay. I read to you the first one from Raymond Maiden. He asks you, how do you promote ethical principles amongst your team?
Ethical principles, or how do we promote that? Okay, as a human being, we know what's ethical and what's not. It's in us. Okay, you cannot lie to yourself. If you want to do something wrong, if you want to, let's say, you have flyers to print out for your party or whatever, you go to your office and you start photocopying in your office. You know it's wrong. Nobody has to tell you that. You're using company resources for personal gain. That's not right. How do I promote it? Is leading by example. I do not do it. Sometimes when we, like take myself as an OCPD, people, you have men coming to you, try to be close to you in a way that, they try to buy you lunch or try to, send you gifts and all that. I say, I don't need all those. All I need for you to do is your job. If you perform your job very well, we can be buddies. I don't need shoes. I have it. It still works. I don't need watches. I have watch. And I don't need all these expensive things because it just doesn't serve my purpose. I don't have that need. I need you to do the job because when you do your job, you make us as a team look good. As a team, 1,563 of us in Petaling Jaya as a team looks good. And when we look good, the whole Petaling Jaya looks good. The economy looks good. The society, the communities looks good. And the whole area will eventually become a better place to stay. So the moral principle, when you want to talk about moral principle, make sure you have that first. And you promote that, you practice that, you show people that you do it. Everybody, when they speak of your name, Raymond, oh, Raymond, is that person? Yes. Speak about Nick Ezanee. Oh, everybody like, oh, let's not work with him. He's a tough nut.
You have been very consistent about this leading by example.
Yes.
It brings us to another question that come through the Facebook Live from Encik Azhar. Tuan Ezanee, how you remain positive in carrying out your duty? Because now there are many accusations against PDRM, and what inspired you?
Well, okay. I always tell people, you got to be positive in life. Only 3 things you cannot be positive. It used to be 2, now it's 3. First, drug test, you cannot be positive. I'm going to put you in. Second, HIV test. And now we have COVID-19. I used to tell people that. But anyway, how do I maintain positive? Let's stand on solid ground. Okay, PDRM is an institution with a great system set up by the British and whatnot. It's a great institution, but it is run by humans. There will always be human factor. All right. Like any other organizations, you do have some black sheep running around and all that. And let's not have this black sheep spoil our image. It means that if you give up today and say, or just because one guy, which happens in PJ last year, if you remember, an officer allegedly raped the 2 Mongolians, and he was charged. It was a big hoo-ha at that time. Do we give up and be like, all right, somebody did this, and let's just go back to our offices and just feel sad about ourselves? No, it doesn't end there. There will always be somebody who, be tempted to do, wrong things while serving. There will always be. Let's live in the real world. But it's my duty, and all of us, 140,000 of us, to fix this. How do we fix this? Maybe being close with each other. Hey, I don't see you coming to work on time these days. What's going on? Hey, how do you afford that Mercedes Benz? You just this kind of things. We got to be close. We got to take care of each other. Remind each other that, hey, don't stray away from the path, from the right path. So how to stay positive? Have that call of duty. You'll stay positive.
That's a good one, Ezanee. More question is coming. This question I read together. The first one, what was it like being an OCPD in charge during MCO? And what are your memorable moments since you appointed as OCPD last year?
Okay. What was it like? It was tough. It was tough. It's no walk in the park for sure. But tough as it may seem, and I've got to thank the communities in Petaling Jaya for this. Tough as it may seem to be the OCPD of Petaling Jaya, I thank you, Petaling Jaya, for being with us, for staying with us. It makes our job so much satisfying. That's why I always tell my boys that without the community support, our organization cannot perform very well, very effectively. And having Petaling Jaya community supporting us, it makes all the the negativeness of the MCO neutral. Okay, it helps. It helps. And what I cannot forget about MCO or being an OCPD of Petaling Jaya is, and I will not forget, the amount of time I spend with my family. It drops almost to 90%. Prior to this, I was a staff officer in Bukit Aman, so we do have more time together. But as an OCPD, that's the sacrifice that I have to make.
Ezanee, you mentioned just now about the team. There is this question about the team. What is your strategy to avoid conflicts in terms of understanding in your team?
Avoid conflict. It depends on your kind of leadership. Some leaders, they do not prefer conflict. I don't like conflict, but I'll take you on face to face if I have to. All right, I'll take on conflict right there and then. I do not hide behind the curtains or whatever. If you're wrong, I'll call you in. Hey, what's going on? Explain yourself. Sometimes conflict can be turned into a positive thing. With conflicts, we learn about each other. What was not said or done could be in the open, and we can move, we can organize it to better on the task, or to avoid conflict. It's not necessarily a positive thing. Means everything will be kept swept under the table. It's there, but people just pretend that it's not happening. So to me, conflict should be addressed, and should sometime, should be addressed. And also, when it comes to conflict, you have to make before you address certain conflict, you've got to see what's coming 10 steps ahead. Because depending on the person you're having a conflict, if you do not plan your solution well, it could turn around and bite you in the back. So plan carefully, think 10 steps forward. A good chess player can think, I think what, 20 steps ahead. So be a chess player.
Ezanee, more questions are coming. Again, I read together the similar one. This is from Jaya, Muhammad, and Hanim. How do you handle the bad apples in your force? And Hanim, question is also quite similar. Apakah pendekatan digunakan in terms of correctional, the black sheep in your team?
Okay. Those who break the law, you will face the law. You will face the music. It's plain and simple. I'm a cop. I don't break the law. What's so special about you? Okay. But if there's a disciplinary problem, let's say, for example, rambut panjang, or being tardy, or coming to work late, and then we have certain disciplinary actions that we can do, right? Or not showing up for work tasks. And that depends. If we want to give a corporal punishment, like we call it double kawat or whatever, there are ways to do it. Or maybe we switch from field job to office work. Just to give the person a chance to improve. But I think Petaling Jaya knows that I will not stand if there's any integrity breach. If you break the law, you will face music. There's no two ways about it. Right?
Talking about Petaling Jaya, Ezanee, there's this question, I guess, from the people in Petaling Jaya. What is your vision for Petaling Jaya? And what would be your legacy when the times come for you to take up other challenge in the near future?
Well, you know what? Legacy it's just not me. Talking about, someday I'll have this legacy, that legacy. You know what, Petaling Jaya? I'm just happy that you are supporting the PDRN here. You are calling us. You're giving information on crime. When we walk around your neighborhood, you just say hi from your balcony and all that. That's more than enough. Just keep staying with us. Support us. We're here as your guardian. All right? So just be with us. That's all. No legacy, nothing. Stay with us. We're your neighborhood cop.
It's a very straightforward wishes from Ezanee. Yes. We have a question for you from Batu Gajah, Ezanee, from DSP Warren. My question to you, sir, is anyone in the higher rank in PDRM inspiring you to join police force and become a role model to serve the community? Tuan ada any role model?
Good question. Role model. I've taken, sometimes without them knowing, a role model, a mentor. There are many leaders in the past of PDRM which have taken some of their good qualities that I see, the way they speak, the way they address the media, the way they chair a meeting, the values are most important. I remember my first OCPD was currently he's still serving, the CPO of Kedah, Hasanuddin Hassan, is a commissioner of police now. So I remember coming in as a young chico then, and I was, there was a table at the Mama right in front of the Seremban 2 district headquarters. Somebody from D7, this vice department of the CID. On the next table, I overheard them talking that the OCPD, somebody actually came to insinuate some illegal activities, and the OCPD said no, my salary is. I overheard the next table, so I was like, wow, an OCPD can be, such a great man can just say no to disgusting things, disgusting offer like that. I can be one. I can be someone like him. So he was one of my early mentors. He doesn't know it, but I just look the way he thought, the way he carried himself as a leader. Because we get to meet him like almost every morning. My direct supervisor at that time was an ASP also, but he has problems coming to work in the morning, so I get to be in the meeting. So I took that advantage. I took that opportunity to make my own assessment of my boss. You don't have to tell what your assessments are, but you just study him. What are the good qualities that he has? Take it and put it in. Doesn't have to be within your own organization. I have read about past leaders of Malaysia, current leaders. What are their good traits? You don't have to be, they are in politics. You don't have to be, agreeing with their political minds or whatever. It's just the good traits that they have, the nilai-nilai murni that they have, the good principles and values. That's what I take in from people. And of course, PDRM, we have many such great leaders, and I do get in touch with, because some of them live in PJ, Tan Sri Musa, Tan Sri Bakri Zinin, Tan Sri Mazan Mansur, Tan Sri Rahim No, all these great names. So I do visit them sometimes, and try to see what they try to tap on their mind, on their experience. So in any organizations, you may do that. You do not have to be close to that person, but you just look at it. Look at her. What is she doing right? What makes her tick? What makes her likable? What makes her a leader? Then maybe you can just gain something out of it.
This question from Miss Wanting, Tuan Ezanee. There are two questions and it's quite long. I tried to make it short. The first one is that if you have a chance to improve the quality of life of your subordinates, especially the lower rank who live in the city, what would you do? And the second one, how do you uphold the reputation of PDRM when public criticize and the situation is actually not accurate?
Okay, first is to improve the quality of life. Well, my advice is to them, let's live within our means. All right. If prior to joining the force, I was earning certain much, and then when I joined the force, I took a pay cut. So let's just live within the means. If you used to buy 50 ringgit worth of shirt, 50 ringgit shirt, you should, when you join the force, maybe you drop it to half or whatever, depending on your salary. Definitely you can improve your quality of life, but from a broader view, maybe well, I know that the government is doing a lot for the PDRN. They put in a lot of budgets and all that, and the IGP is also very concerned about his our downlines, and we can only do it if we set in the mind, in the heart. Okay, this is what I'm taking home today from the government of Malaysia. Let's say 2,000 ringgit, and I have to live within that means. Forget about let's say, for example, a watch. It still tells the time. It doesn't matter if it's Rolex or Casio. It still tells the time. So think about it. If you want to make an improvement, okay, fine. Maybe you can improve yourself, study, get a bachelor's degree or whatever, apply to be an officer. If you maybe your wife's not working, maybe she could get online, and start doing business online. And we do have our police families doing all these things, but other than that, live within your means, then you improve quality of life. Public criticism. I'm a city boy. You know what's the advantage of being a city boy is? Walking from point A to point B, you'll hear people shouting, you'll hear car honking, lorry honking, and car crash. You'll hear a lot of noise. But I need to get to point B. While you're having all this noise coming in, just take note. What kind of noise? Why did the accident happen? Why is he honking? Why is that man shouting? Take it as a feedback. Don't turn a blind eye on things. I think I've informed some medias as well. I do not take people's concern as complaints. When you take it as complaints, you'll become defensive. You think that I've been working long hours and people keep complaining. Do not take it as a complaint. Take it as a feedback. When you take it as a feedback, then you set your mind that you are not perfect, and we are not perfect. I remember there was a video circulating on WhatsApp about a teacher commenting on her accent. I have an accent. My English is not perfect, but at least you understand it. Come on. The public criticism can be used for our betterment. And I've been using whatever criticism that I get in PJ to better my service, to provide better service to the public. So it's up to you. You want to take it as a positive, it will become positive. If you want to take it as a negative, it will become negative.
I guess it backs into what you have in your mind, yeah, Tuan Ezanee?
Yeah.
Tuan Ezanee, Izzah Farah is asking you, what is your fondest memory when you're serving in Sabah?
Fondest memory would be, I remember coming there, getting resistance from my own team. Because doing the right thing is not always easy. Actually, it's never easy doing the right thing. And you get resistance, like I said, they ridicule you, they boycott you, whatever. But in the end, after my 2.5 years of tour there, when I get back to Bukit Aman, I get calls from the very same people who resisted in the beginning, saying that how they enjoyed the work, the hardship. You know why they enjoyed it? Because when they walk on the street, people give them respect. Respect is earned, not given. If you walk with your team and people know that you mean business, people will respect you. But if you start playing wayang, susah. But anyway, that was the fondest memory. I mean, you come in as an outsider, people like, resisting you so much. And then when you leave the place, they actually, calling you every day, asking for advice, this on, asking how you're doing. So I would say that was the fondest memory of Sabah. And I thank you, Kota Kinabalu, for having me about 10 years ago. I don't forget you. I remember you. Okay.
Tuan Ezanee, Raymond Maiden is asking again, do you have a favorite TV cop show or movie?
A cop show movie. I would say American Gangster. It's about it's a true story. It's about how a narcotic officer actually built up a case during the 70s in the United States, and where there were a lot of corrupt cops going on with there, making arrests, confiscating the drugs, selling it back to the markets and all that. So how he developed and how he turned in, I think it was he found cash in the trunk of a car, and he actually turned everything in. That's integrity, my friend. That's why I like the movie. And the bad guys got caught in the end. Hollywood.
Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe.
Yes, Denzel Washington, Denzel and Russell Crowe.
Yeah. The gangster's name is Frank, eh?
Frank something.
Yeah. Right.
It's based on true story.
Correct.
And eventually the cop that arrested him, he became a DA, district attorney.
Right.
Eventually.
Okay, Tuan Ezanee, we have come to the end of the session.
Oh wow, okay.
I will take this question from Facebook together with our parting words for you.
Okay.
Being a successful officer yourself, what would be your one advice to the young officer and aspiring new officers? And your parting word as well, sir.
To the young officers, do this. Do not get involved in any act of dishonesty. I've done it since day one. I came in. It's tough. It's not easy. It's not easy. If you can do it for 15 years, you'll get used to it. And inshallah, you get to be where you deserve to be. So do not get involved in any, no matter how hard it is, no matter, at the end of the month you have some problems with your cash. You can always go see the boss, talk to him, but do not go out there and get involved with something dishonest. All right, and in terms of work, there will always be resistance. There will always be frustrations. Soldier on. Soldier on. We've taken an oath. This is the life we chose. So just soldier on. All right, be strong. You'll get there.
Tuan Ezanee, it has been a very fantastic discussion that we had this morning. On behalf of the school, kami mendoakan Tuan dan rakan-rakan pasukan di IPD Petaling Jaya diberikan kesihatan yang baik supaya dapat terus menyumbang kepada negara, memastikan keselamatan awam terjamin. Thank you for spending time with us today. We wish you could continue
for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you.
Right.
We also thank the participant for taking part. We value your views and feedback. We apologize for any shortcoming. Please follow us on social media for future session. Till we meet again, take care, stay safe, and thank you. Terima kasih Tuan Ezanee. Assalamualaikum.
All right, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you, everyone.